What is up, gamers and geeks? And in today's episode, it's a Star Wars edition. We will discuss
what if Luke went to Alderaan and Leia went to Tattooine?
Stay tuned. And this is another one that the three of us came in because we have our reoccurring buddy of ours, Bean, on here. But I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Rick.
And it's Bean.
And that's, the premise is today we are going to talk about what if Leia went to the desert planet of Tattooine and Luke, the bitch, went to Alderaan.
He should have.
He
was more suit for royalty,
He
wasn't
was.
Right.
Prince of Alderaan.
Yeah, and so when we talked about this, and I know in the original Star Wars, they talked about how the Organas wanted a daughter. But what if they didn't want a daughter? Let's say...
Well, they would have gotten one if they adopted Luke.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I mean, he was a baby. He was still yet to be...
Determined?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way he came out and ended up ultimately becoming, I think that they had Princess Luke.
Yeah,
They did.
when Luke when he went to Uncle Owen, I mean, obviously the Luke that we got was a farm boy. You know, obviously he learned how to fly. He learned to do a lot of things.
I mean, he did become useful, but the time he started learning the Force, I thought he became such a pansy.
He was so whiny, too.
Where could he be?
Yeah. 3PO!
So, but would he have been like that if he was raised in royalty?
I think he would have been pompous.
I honestly think he'd have been even worse.
Yeah. But Leia.
Well,
Leia would have been a badass, even more of a badass. She
Leia
was already
was-
a badass.
Yeah, Leia would have been a
Kenobi.
badass no matter what direction she would have gone.
I'm not.
You know, the half Jedi.
I beg to differ. I think that Uncle Luke wanted them to forget,
Uncle Owen.
or Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
Uncle Owen wanted them to forget about that whole Jedi piece. I mean, remember, he's like Obi-Wan.
Well,
he's
yeah. He goes, that guy's a strange old man. He called him a crazy old wizard, a strange old... Yeah, I mean... But it's just simply because he was protecting Luke from the actual facts of his origins, which was... I mean... Dude, you're Anakin's son. You're gonna be you're supposed to be a badass.
He should have
But-
been.
But was he, or was he like, or did he just not want to lose his labor? You know what I mean? He
Oh,
wanted
you mean
him
as
to-
far as the farm boy and
the
whatnot?
farm boy,
Yeah.
and help around the farm, and
But I mean, I agree with that because you know how he was. He goes, you can fool around with your friends later, you know. But I was going into Taji Station to pick up some power converters.
That's all I hear in my head.
that's funny.
Okay,
Yeah.
but Leia, she was hard-headed. She didn't care. She was gonna do what she wanted anyway.
Leia
Just
would
like
have been
she did.
better at the tougher decisions.
Have you watched Obi-Wan Kenobi yet?
No,
The series, yeah.
Oh my goodness. You're missing out because that alone just proves how much more of a badass Leia is than Luke.
okay.
She would have known Ben. Ben would have eventually came to her the same way that he came to Luke, maybe in a different way. But she would have easily picked up that lightsaber and taken after her father because she was more like them in the badass sense.
Well, both are really. You're both actually right, though. If I have to look at it from a Star Wars perspective, I mean, where first of all, where Rick's coming from is it is the farm aspect of it. I mean, he needed the hand because let's be realistic. What was Aunt Beru really doing to contribute besides giving him blue milk? I mean,
Yeah.
Making food.
Well, and
yeah, I mean, and they aged poorly in 19 years, didn't they?
right, and Obi-Wan was very hands off. Well, I mean, why would he be more involved with Leia than he was with
So
Luke?
much so that Uncle Owen ultimately had Luke believing his name was Ben Kenobi,
Yeah.
not even Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that's where he's right. But also where Bean's right is, if you haven't seen the series, you'll see how they, where she's going with the perspective of Leia and how it would have turned out differently as well. Absolutely. So you're both actually right. I mean, there's no right or wrong there.
Where would Leia also have been useful in the farm work? Because Luke, I mean, not to throw genders out, but Luke was more useful in the sense that he was a man. He was going to do all that manual labor and hard work. if Aunt Beru wasn't useful for anything, what was Leia?
Well, she
doing?
made some mean blue milk.
Right. And
Yeah,
good
but
stuff.
I mean, daughters do a lot on the farms. Even
Yeah.
even.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the way she is and who she is, being Padme's daughter and the daughter of Anakin Skywalker, she knows, she can
She
feel
wouldn't
in
have
the
gone
Force.
into Taji Station to pick up power converters.
I think she probably would have. I think so. First off, we've got a couple different tangent ways we can go here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is the gender bias and how people are treated, especially in the farmlands and things like that.
Well, in Star Wars too, like,
Yeah, but I mean, you've got Leia going there. She's going on a farm. They're in hiding. The Jedi are in hiding. So Obi-Wan stand off, and so to even train her is going to put her at risk. So it would have to be done in a way that wouldn't bring attention to her.
You want to know what's really screwed up is how much more actually happened on Tattooine after, or at least before Disney got its shit hooks into it.
Right.
Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi ultimately establishes a relationship, a love interest on Tattooine during that 19 years before he's lost in A New Hope. And also he has a rematch with Darth Maul.
Well, that's
Because Darth Maul doesn't die on Naboo when he gets cut in half, because he's just sustained by the Force as well and gets like his mechanical legs. And the guy that plays Galen Merrick in the Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Sam Witwer, actually voiced Darth Maul in, I believe, was it Solo that he was in? I think it was Solo that you see Darth Maul briefly. Do you remember that? Yeah. And anyway, so obviously all that was before The Phantom Menace, but or was it? I don't know.
Solo?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Solo was, I mean...
That'd be after, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So Darth Maul was obviously still alive. That's correct, yeah. Sorry, I was getting confused. But anyway, and literally Obi-Wan and Darth Maul have another duel to the death on Tatooine, and Darth Maul almost kind of asks for Obi-Wan's forgiveness and dies in Obi-Wan's arms.
huh.
Is that in the Clone Wars, the animated series?
I think so. Have you seen it? You've seen that?
I haven't seen that. I want to because it's got so much storyline in it.
I've only seen bits and pieces, but I saw the duel, the final battle between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul actually gets, basically redeems himself.
Right.
But anyway, so where I'm going with that is there's so much that happens in that 19 years though, so maybe you can understand why it did age everybody, because there was a lot of Jedi Sith action that Uncle Owen was trying to avoid Luke dealing with during that 19 years.
That's true. Like when the Imperials came to Tatooine looking for... Who were they looking for?
Well, they were looking for the droids, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because
I
the
think
droids
so.
left the escape pod and they had the Death Star plans in the R2 unit.
No, I mean in Kenobi.
Oh,
They were looking
I don't
for Leia, weren't they?
I don't
She was on
remember.
Tatooine?
It's been so long.
I know. I gotta rewatch that.
Yeah.
Well,
The only good series by Disney, by the way.
Yeah.
so we've said enough on Leia, on Tatooine. Luke, I think that Bail Organa he had having a princess in Leia. He raised her to be a diplomat. Having a male Luke, I think that there might
That's
be.
barely Mel.
But you guys have a lot of judgments about Luke based on what he became on the farm. But I think Bail Organa is going to probably train him a little better. He's probably going to train him how to fight. He's probably going to train him how to defend himself, and plus the diplomatic stuff. I think that Luke is probably going to be better prepared for what's coming than he was on the farm.
Mentally, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And physically, too.
Yes, but you're also, the other flip side is he was being trained by a Jedi Master in Obi-Wan Kenobi, so it depends on what type of training you're referring to. Because if it were me, would I rather be trained by Bail Organa or a Jedi Master? I've probably taken the Jedi route just because, it's all things badass. But Bail Organa's no pansy either.
Yeah.
No.
He's where he's at for a reason.
Yeah, he was a badass.
But just taking the movie New Hope, he wasn't prepared as a... there was not much Jedi training.
Oh no, it wasn't his fault. That wasn't Luke's fault. He did start at 19 years old?
Right.
Too old to begin the training.
Yeah. So do you think that... so the tangents I talked about, we could go as far as the whole story is going to change as far as the plans, the battle star and all that.
Yeah.
Or we could say, hey, let's, in our heads, everything kind of happens similar. And Luke is the one that gives R2 the Death Star plans, and sends him to find Obi-Wan, and
You're my only hope.
I mean,
I could see Luke. Help me, Obi-Wan. I can see it.
So
Help
do we
me,
want
Ben Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Right. So do we? Which jumps do we want to take? Do we want to say everything happens similar, or do we want to say?
I think that the way they make the Force out to be, it was all the same destiny regardless. So I mean, when you hear Yoda, when Obi-Wan goes, "That boy was our last hope." No, it was another. Either way, it was always going to play that they had a safety net in the other one.
Right.
So I think it was going to play that way either way because first of all, it's the freaking Skywalker saga, and we're so past that. It's not even funny. But yeah, I think that it wouldn't have gone. Everything wouldn't have been the same. Everything wouldn't have been similar. But I mean, because then you're not going to have Leia in the Death Star captured. You're going to have Luke. So is there a Han and Leia thing after that when they start already bantering back and forth with their way?
Does she meet him in Mos Eisley?
Yeah,
Do they go to the Death Star and eventually save Luke, not knowing
Do they kiss?
who he is? I feel like I put in here, would they still have kissed? Probably.
The Star Wars version of Jamie and Cersei.
But if Leia had met Han first and they got to that bantering and bickering, yeah, probably still maybe, because I feel like she only kind of kissed him to be petty towards Han.
Right. Well, yeah, obviously having no idea. She did that just to try to get under Han's skin, of course. But the thing is, you have Leia now training under Obi-Wan. She's the one that's on the Millennium Falcon going, you don't believe in the Force, do you?
Oh, you mean that thing you just learned about 20 minutes ago and are now judging me for not believing in? I love that.
Me too. But she's learning, instead.
She's handed her father's lightsaber by Obi-Wan. When
and
Uncle and Aunt get burned.
Yeah. And you have Luke, who's on what is that ship? The Tantive 4, Tantive, because it's at the end of the best Disney movie of them all, Rogue One. And yeah, you have Luke on there getting captured by Darth Vader. You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take him away, is how it would end up going. Or for Luke, it would still be, take her away.
Right.
You want to know why I bag on Luke Skywalker so much? One, his lightsaber expertise sucks. And when you compare it to what you see in The Phantom Menace all the way to Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, yeah.
And then secondly, when you see him in the worst Star Wars display of all time in The Last Jedi, when he does that where he's brushing off Kylo Ren, he is completely being a non-Jedi in that scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's honestly, I'm biased, but that one is my least favorite Star Wars film.
It's
The Last Jedi.
It's Disney's biggest turd.
Well, and that is a Disney thing.
Yeah.
That's
it's Disney's biggest turd on the entire ship parade.
I feel like he went that way anyways, though, right? Because in the story, he took the same path as his father, didn't he?
More or less, but he was also taking the same path of exile like Yoda. So he had disconnected himself with the Force, which does make sense for Jedi to hide. Because look at the series in Obi-Wan, which I know you didn't see, but look how long it took Obi-Wan to get all his groove back. It took him a while to get his mojo back too, because they disconnect from the Force to hide. And that's how they're able to stay hidden. That's how the Sith can't hunt you down. Those who don't disconnect themselves with the Force, Vader or Anakin, have the power to reach out and find them and destroy them. That's why Star Wars: The Force Unleashed began.
It takes a while to get your mojo back when you gain 40 years in 19 years.
Yeah. We're talking about how bad the aging process is. Look at Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru from Revenge of the Sith getting Luke.
Yeah, they were mid-20s.
Yeah, to A New Hope, and then they're all of a sudden in their 60s. Good God, man.
And the same with Obi-Wan, and that's hard on the joints.
Well, desert life, baby.
Desert life. It ain't easy for aging.
That is hilarious. That's one we'll do another podcast on. We'll just say Star Wars, aging the desert life.
Right.
Tatooine, retire here.
It's like the Fort Lauderdale of the galaxy.
Literally.
Yeah, and there's always vacancies because people die so quick.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
sandstorms will get you.
Well, you got Tusken Raiders that obviously capture you, Schnee, and so
rest in peace.
Yeah. But,
the only logical Skywalker.
Yeah.
True story. But yeah, I don't know how much actually changes. I don't think that the overall ending, the path changes, but I think that there'll be subtle changes throughout the course of it.
Are they going to let Leia train to be a fighter? Because, like Luke used to, what they say, he used to shoot, what kind of rats or whatever they said?
Bullseye womp rats.
Bullseye womp rat. Would they let her be on doing that? You know, there's a lot of gender bias in most worlds.
The difference between Luke and Leia, though, is Leia was so much more headstrong. If there was something she wanted to do, she was going to do it either way. Yeah, unlike Luke, that was like, all right, and throw his tantrum, because he's just like Anakin.
Leia was 10 years old wearing a utility belt to hold a blaster.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was very young, too, if you ever played the Force Unleashed. Yeah, she was younger than that. She was already getting captured at like 15. And so, I don't know. I just think that her ability, her head was stronger than Luke's, in my opinion. Luke complained. Leia didn't complain. Leia's like, this is the right course of action. We're going to do it. You know, I mean, I think that, I don't know. I've always preferred Leia over Luke just because I felt she was stronger in every aspect. I think if it would have been a different character arc, I mean, they ultimately did it with Rey. Rey finally got to be the Leia taking on Luke's role, basically. And I think Leia could have actually, even back then in 77 when the first one came out, and then 80 with Empire, and then 83 with Return, I honestly think that Leia could have taken the role of Luke Skywalker and it would have been just as successful, because it was what you once talked about. Lucas broke new ground with all of this. And so I don't think it would have mattered what gender actually took the lead role.
Personally, I feel like as far as Vader realizing there was still good in him and loving his children, or like loving Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would have happened sooner with Leia, because she is so much like her mother.
And see, but here's
might have gotten to him.
Rick and I always had a problem though. How the hell would Vader, as powerful as he is, not know that when he goes, you are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor? How does he not know that's his daughter? How does he not feel the affinity in the Force with that?
Yeah.
I never understood that.
Because Leia and Luke are equal in Force potential.
Yes.
So I never understood that.
In before Disney, in the canons, Luke ultimately opens up the new Jedi Order, and Leia ultimately becomes a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
And so, since you mentioned Lucas, in 1977, and here I go, I'll probably get flashback on this.
That's right.
The world, Leia being the primary hero, would never have been able to go down. It would never, a female lead in a Star Wars movie.
I think it would have been masked by what Lucas was able to do with the new age technology of Star Wars, that I think it would have probably been overlooked that it was a female protagonist. It's just in my opinion.
Everybody did love Leia, though. A lot of people say they prefer Padme over Leia just based on looks, but character-wise, characteristics, and for me, looks, Leia beats Padme overall.
Yeah.
She was so much more hands-on. That woman, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love Leia.
Well,
I'm biased.
And we don't want the stories to be exactly the same, because we don't want Luke to be in a bikini. Good job with that.
You had to see him in a diaper in a bacta tent. That was bad enough.
That's what my grandson My grandson got a glimpse of episode 5.
It's not pretty.
And he keeps saying Luke in a diaper, Luke in a diaper. It's like,
it is.
And it took us a while to figure out.
Why do you think Luke got the name Poopy Pants? That's a good one. Luke Poopy Pants Skywalker. No, you're right. In 77, it may have been frowned upon a female lead role, but I just thought that the equal rights had already started to break out of its shell at that point anyway. So, I mean, you did have lead roles with like Jane Fonda, unfortunately, and then you had other people in other movies. You know, you had like the Sophia Loren's, and you had like there was a couple of other really big ones that were doing their own lead roles. So I don't know. I mean, maybe a veteran actress may have had a better shot at it than someone new like Carrie Fisher. But yeah, I mean, so you're right. You could very well be right. But I just think Lucas had something new and inventive that just blew everyone away, that wouldn't have mattered who was the lead role.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Oh, absolutely.
But growing up in the 70s, I don't know. Because kids would still love it.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And you got to think of most of the adults that are looking at Carrie Fisher and like, damn, who that? You know, and like,
Yeah, I love her.
yeah, I mean, like she was an attractive woman. I mean, she really was. I mean, the gold bikini. Hello.
She was also just a hell of an actress.
No, she was. She was.
I really only know her in Star Wars, like as the main thing I've seen her in. I know she's been in other movies.
Mhm.
Her mom, phenomenal actress.
Yeah, Debbie Reynolds.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it just depends, but I do know that I don't think the outcome would have been very different, but I think there would have been some subtle changes. I mean, and what is it? The smallest little thing can cause the biggest ripple effects, and you just never know.
I think what would have been different is if the force potential, like if Leia didn't have it, like Luke did, or something like that. Because she'd be required to do some things that probably required her to have Jedi-like skills, and so.
It's an interesting topic, though. It really is. And anyway, that's about the 20-minute mark. But anybody watching this video, give us your comments, give us any replies or anything like that on what you think would be any changes if Luke and Leia had swapped roles as babies. Yeah, and I'll probably put this one out Friday. This episode right on. So anyway, guys, that's really all I had in this episode. What about you guys? You guys got anything else you want to add before we go? Go ahead.
That's it for me.
Yeah, same.
All right, guys, on that note, I am outro.
Me too.
See ya.